Alright, finally back. It's been a couple days actually. I never realized how long it takes to build something if you're going to try to film the steps. And I've just been busy doing other stuff, particularly with the camera. So, let's take this apart. Turn off the vacuum. Okay, let's position the camera a little bit better so you can see what's going on. I like to be as careful as I can taking the pill ply off, or not the pill ply, the release film, so I can reuse it. Get a few wings out of each one. There. That's as good as new. Alright, here's the wing. You know, you can see, maybe you can see how the Mylars have kind of come together. I'm not the best at this, but it's not too bad, and it'll all sand down anyways when we get through here. So you remove the tape. Okay, usually at this point I'll get the tape off. There's a little bit of excess epoxy that squoze out, particularly on the trailing edge, a little bit on the leading edge. It's already starting to, Mylars are starting to come off there, so I'll usually try to scrape that off while it's still on the wing to clean it up for the next wing. Alright, now we peel the Mylars off. So the Mylars come off and they're reused, and they leave behind the paint. See, the Mylars are no longer painted, and the fiberglass. So there's the bottom of the wing. A little dusty, but that's the bottom of the wing. And the top of the wing. So there's the wing. That carbon is like sliver, wood sliver. Alright, now all that's left to do is sand the leading edge, just to bring it back to the carbon tape that we put on there so you have a good shape to the leading edge. Trim the back, trim the trailing edge to the right shape, cut out the ailerons, and we're done. And we'll do that here shortly. I'm going to watch this restart. Alright. I use pretty coarse sandpaper to begin with to get the initial part sanded. And all I'm going to do is, where the skins come together, I'm just going to sand it down to the tape I put on the leading edge, the carbon that I put on the leading edge, and then just kind of feather it back a little bit, that's all. I'll go with like a 320, no I think it's a 220 grit paper, just to kind of smooth it up a little bit. Don't have to do a lot of sanding. Okay, it makes it nice and smooth. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see or not, the unfinished leading edge is right here, and the finished leading edge is right here. And it's nice and smooth. You can see the tips, they look decent. Yeah, you know, if you want it to be nice and shiny black, all you have to do is paint a little thin epoxy on the leading edge, and it'll make that carbon fiber look nice and shiny. I don't always do that because I'm lazy, but as an end user, if you get the wing and you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this side. Okay, leading edge is done. It's all black, you see the carbon. Ready to cut the trailing edge. Usually what I'll do when I cut the trailing edge is lay a little bit of some paper towels down to keep from scratching the wing as I cut it. Okay. Again, take my template, line it up. tips in the center. I take a straight edge. I'll do this one first. Line it up. Then, I suppose you can see this. So then I just take my razor. You definitely don't want to try to cut through in one cut. You want to use a number of cuts. And it doesn't cut through the paper towel very well, does it? But that's alright, it keeps the wing from getting scratched up. Okay, one side. Now the other side. Okay, there's the end. Now I have a perfectly shaped wing. The trailing edge is nice and straight. I don't know if you can see it or not. Nice straight trailing edge. I will. Alright, since the camera ran out, figured it's time for a different view anyway, so you can see what I'm doing, I guess. I'm not sure where it ended last time, but yeah, I put the template on, used the razor saw to cut down as far as I could. One of the problems is the back blade on this saw doesn't allow me to get all the way down in. So I use this to cut through. And it'll go all the way through on both sides. Okay. And I use a piece of sandpaper. This is going to be difficult to do. I usually hold it in a different manner. But you put the kind of sand all the way down. Kind of opens it up a little bit. Do the same thing on both sides. Okay, then I'll double it over and do it again with double sandpaper thickness. Okay, now if you look at the top, you can see I've got it cut right in the middle. You know, you see the strip Kevlar, so we're going to be good. Okay, now what I do up here, I get a brand new razor blade. Good sharp razor blade. Okay, remember there's Kevlar on the top skin, on the foam, and just fiberglass on this side. So I'm going to cut through the bottom skin all the way through the foam right to the Kevlar, but not cut through the Kevlar. It sounds more difficult than it is. Really not that difficult. So right now I'm not really cutting much through the foam. I just want to make sure I get all the way through the skin, which I am. Alright, I'm all the way through the skin. So now I'm just cutting through foam down to the top skin, and I can feel the razor blade rubbing against the top skin, against that Kevlar. So I'm not pressing very hard, but I'm just making sure I'm all the way down, and I am. Okay, so now I've cut through. Now I pull the template off, leave the tape on, and just slide my template back about 1/8 of an inch, a little less than 1/8 of an inch out at the tip. It doesn't have to be. Alright, had to recharge the battery a bit, get that to go. So I cut even with the line. I moved the template back about 1/8 of an inch or so. Glue it on. Get the razor, and you kind of cut straight down through the skin. And once I get through the skin, I'll try to angle it. Okay, through the skin. Okay, once I get through the skin, I try to kind of angle it towards the joint. That's not, I don't know that it's real important, but that's what I do. So try to make it a little wedge shape. Doesn't always turn out that way. This one probably won't either. And it doesn't really matter. Okay. So we got a space cut there. Now what we want to do is flip this tape around. Put this back on here. Line it back up with exactly where it was, with where you've cut it already. Okay. Now this edge is going to be right above the spot where I cut before. Now I got to find my my file. I have a triangle file I use. Here it is, right here. Triangle file. And this is the wrong angle to be doing it at. I'm going to do it anyways. You just use the template as a guide and scrape off. You have to remove the fiberglass. Remember, there's 3 layers of fiberglass that I have to sand through before I get to the Kevlar. So you want to remove that fiberglass so that the Kevlar, so that the hinge is free to move and it's not stiff. Fiberglass is going to be real stiff if I try to use it as is right now. And again, this is kind of a feel thing. You can kind of feel when you get through the glass and hit the Kevlar, the file kind of catches.
And the Southeast's biggest fireworks show.
The race is over, so there's nothing to watch. Bunch of green flag pit stops at the end made for a somewhat exciting race if you're a Dell Jr. fan or a Klazowski fan. Okay, that's pretty much through. I think you can see there. Oh, I got a little scratched. Now what I do is I will take kind of a straight edge just to make sure it doesn't lift up in the corners. Hold it down on that edge and then break it free. Okay. Okay, now I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's the foam wing. Probably going to move it back here. And you can see the little part that I've cut out. Pull out the extra. Okay. That hinge is free. And what I'll usually do is break it over down this way on the hinge and then just take my file and just rub it a little bit. Now it just flaps in the breeze. Looks good. I don't know if you can see the foam of the hinge. You can see how it closes up when you're going down. That's plenty of down. More down than you probably need. Probably really only going to run about right here. And obviously you don't need that much up, but that's the way it works. Now we're going to cut out the other side. Okay, there it is. Wings ready to roll, ready to race. I guess we'll do a fuse next, or the horizontal. We'll decide.